name is Joe White. My course is physiotherapy. I'm the current president of the BU Bobcats.
Did you always want to go to university?
I always wanted to do a course that required me to go to university.
And what course?
So I originally, when I was 18, I originally wanted to study Paramedic Science.
Okay.
So I ended up applying 5 universities, top choices and everything. I had an interview with 3 of the universities, and then I heard back from one of them, got a place in the University of Gloucester.
Okay.
So that was my start of my university journey. My hometown is in Hampshire, North Hampshire, which is about 20 minutes outside of Winchester.
Accommodation?
I stayed in uni halls. So the whole thing was my course didn't start till January, so It wasn't September to May or June. It was January to December. So I did a full 12 months. That was my course. So I moved in the January, and I moved into halls. Lots of fun. 18 years old, fresh out of college. Bright eyes, bushy tailed. Just absolutely. Going out on the lash with my mates.
Was it a good night out in Gloucestershire?
It was good when I first started. My first year was really, really good. And I made a lot of friends. And that's really the start of sort of my social life at university, and the course in my first year, I enjoyed that. Coming to the end of my first year was, how can I put this? So, without jumping the gun too much to sport just yet, but that was pretty much my whole life at University of Sport. But jumping to the end of my first year, it was hard work, a lot of hours on placement. I was on placement in Salisbury, so I was going home for placement, so I was leaving university, so for big chunk and big blocks. But it was just good fun. Made really good mates, really good course mates, and amazing teammates as well. And that was the main thing that I took away from my experience in my first year, was the people I met. Really good course mates and amazing teammates as well. And that was the main thing that I took away from my experience in my first year, was the people I met.
So you talked about your sports teammates. So you joined a sports team?
I did join a sports team.
What sports team did you join?
So I joined American football in my first year. I joined in the January. So that was towards the end of their season. But I joined American football when I joined.
And what was that decision? Was it there? Was this if you played American football before?
Or no. I never played American football before. So I come from a background of playing rugby and football. And when I joined the University of Gloucester, I went to the sort of we call it here at Bournemouth, we call it the Refreshers Fair in January.
So you had the first Freshers Fair in September, and then they do it all again as January starts.
Yeah. So I went to that, and I was going around all the teams, and there was football team there, rugby team there, and I went up to the football team and said, I'm interested in joining. They said, all of our teams are full, there'd be no space. So I was like, okay. Went to rugby and said, look, I played rugby. I'd love to, and they're like, look, there's not really any space going. So I was feeling a bit deflated, because I was like, I'm not going to play sport in my first year of uni until September, until the next trials come around. I was feeling a bit deflated, and then there was the Paramedic Society. I'm not one to join other societies, but I went over there, and there was a guy in an American football jersey from Gloucester, and I said to him, what's
that?
Is there an American football team here at Gloucester? And he goes, oh yeah, it's called the Gloucestershire Gladiators.
Fair, good name.
Very good name. very good name. And he said to me, come along, and if you're interested, come along. We've got training tomorrow. I didn't bring my football boots with me to uni.
Fair.
I didn't bring much when I first moved in, and this was the first 2 weeks I was there, and this guy has just come and said, why don't you come along to training tomorrow? So I agreed. I said, yeah, perfect. So he gave me a social media, and I went away to Sports Direct and brought myself a gum shield and boots. And then he messaged me the next day and said, we're having a classroom meeting, which is just, my halls was literally on campus. So it was literally just about a 5-minute walk down to the lecture theatre. And I walked in, and there was a group of lads who soon become really close friends of mine. And I walked in there for the first time and had no idea. I watched the sport on telly. I watched it when I was young. I watched it first time was probably, I remember I was watching the Arizona Cardinals, which is my favourite NFL team. And there was a player called Tyrann Mathieu, and I watched his highlight videos on YouTube, and that was the only American football I kind of got into and knew.
So experience lived through someone else.
Yeah. So I was watching these highlight videos, and I thought, oh yeah, it looks really cool. But I'm probably never going to play it. I live in the UK. We don't get the chance to play American football. But obviously I turned up. And they were talking tactics, and they were going over film from the previous game they played, and my mind was sort of boggling, and I was like, oh, I don't really understand.
It's a lot to take on.
It's a lot to take on. And I sat there in the classroom and listened to them all talk, and then they said, right, everyone get in their cars, go down to Plot Court, which was where we trained, and we're all going to go and do a field session. So the guy who invited me said, I'll come into my car and I'll drive you down. And I got there, and they were so eager to have people join. And
was it a big team at that point?
It was a small team. We had
20, 50?
We had 20. I think it was 22 registered players.
Fairs.
So considering to other teams who had near enough 50 to 60 players registered,
big difference.
We were a very, very small team. We had 22 registered players, and I turned up, and they already had a pad and helmet waiting for me, and I was straight in. I remember first thing we did was special teams. We did kickoff, and they said to me, they were like, just run in a straight line and get to the person with the ball. So I was running, and this guy, very big player, one of our best players at Gloucester, come and smashed into me, and he really gave me, just hit me hard and tried to get me on the ground, and I sort of staggered back, and I didn't fall over, and it was my first hit. And I remember he looked at me and went, you'll do all right. And I remember thinking to myself, what have I got myself into? What is this sport? And that first training session, I was running around, and a coach, I'll never forget him, he's now become a very good friend of mine, but this coach called Coach Daff. Coach Daff he was a Welsh coach. And he said to me, he was like, Joe, come over here. I want you to play this position for me. And this was my first experience of playing my position now of defensive end.
So you went from special teams, running into a guy getting hit. Yeah. He's like, you know what? Yeah. I know where you would be.
Yeah. And he's like, come play defensive end for me. And I said, I don't know what I'm doing here. And he goes, don't worry, no. He goes, just go around the side, get to the person with the ball. And I was like, okay. It seems easy enough.
Very simple, very...
So first training session, I think I got numerous pressures on the QB and tackled the running back a couple of times behind the line of scrimmage, and a few tackle for losses in training. And Daff said to me, I think we found your position. And what happened was I sort of went home and I thought, okay, this was quite interesting.
Something new.
Saturday came round and I got a message from the captain of the team, who is a very, very good friend of mine and plays for the best team in the UK at the moment, Bristol Aztecs.
Yes.
Josh Ricketts, he messaged me and said, we've got a game Sunday. Would you like to play?
So you've just gone into training, special teams.
Yeah.
You've just tried your first position in defensive end.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, right into it, first game, let's go.
They were like, do you want to play? We're playing Bournemouth Sunday. Would you like to play? And
Bournemouth, this university?
Bournemouth University,
okay.
Yeah. But we were playing Bournemouth Bobcats. This is my first experience playing American football, my first game day. And I said to him, yeah, I would love to, get me involved. I really enjoy training. He was like, perfect. Completely different from training, but we'll get you involved. He said, can you pay your affiliation and all that? So I did all the paperwork and I was set. So I turned up on Sunday morning, ready for the coach. All I had was my boots and my mouth guard.
And this would be technically your second session of American football.
Yeah, this is my second time playing American football, and I was already being chucked in. Depth chart come out, so the depth chart of who was playing, and I was starting defensive end for this game. I've
never played it before.
I trained 48 hours before this game,
and that's it. Right,
and that was it. Straight in the deep end, and we turned up with I think it was 18 fit players, and then towards the end of the game we ended up with 16, so we lost 2 of our players towards the end of the game. So multiple people playing both ways, playing special teams, offence and defence, and we led Bournemouth Bobcats by 7-0 at half time.
So you're up 7-0
first game. We've lost, context to the Glads, they lost every game up to this point.
So then something was different in this game.
Something was different, and we were winning 7-0. And we remember sitting on the sideline, and everyone just burst out laughing. Everyone just burst out because we were winning. And we could hear on the other side Bournemouth getting an absolute right bollocking from Coach Rains, and we were just sat on the sideline laughing because we were like, how is this happening? They haven't conceded all year until we just come here and scored. And actually, I don't think that's true. I think they had conceded, but we were the first team to lead them. And we were like, we have a chance here of beating Bournemouth.
Bournemouth Bobcats.
You know, undefeated Bournemouth Bobcats. And we went into this game with a mindset of like, we might lose. And then we were winning 7-0. Anyway, the story is that we lost the game.
Oh,
eventually.
okay.
We lost the game. We lost the game 26-7.
And I came up 26 points.
Yeah, I think it was 26-7. I think it was 26-7. If my mind is correct.
So that bollocking obviously worked.
Yeah, and it was obviously my good teammate Alfie Burks. This was his first season playing American football for Bournemouth. He played before coming to uni, but it was his first season playing for Bournemouth as well, and it was my first game. And it's funny how, you know, fate has a weird way of connecting the dots. But that was my first experience, and I was up against a big tackle called Ray. They called him the Ray Train, and he taught me a lot that day.
Okay.
As much as he was whooping my ass, he taught me a lot. And at the end of this season, I actually got to see him and got to say to him as well and thank him for that humbling
my journey.
Yeah, that humbling experience of him telling me, going, you don't want to go in this gap. You don't want to go in this gap. And I was going, I need to go in that gap. That's my assignment. And he's going, you don't want to go in that gap. But he was absolutely wonderful, and the whole experience just set me off on my trajectory of playing American football. It took over my life.
Okay.
It took over my life. All I could think about then was playing sport at university. All I thought about was the team. All I could think about when I had spare time was, what can I do to improve myself as an athlete or improve myself as someone better for the team? Probably to the dismay of all my lecturers and my grades as well. So it did take a bit of a hit, but I made that sacrifice because I fell in love with a sport that has taken me somewhere now, and I don't regret that for a minute. But it did affect university, but I was young. I think because I was freshly 18, I was still trying to find my feet as well. You know, you've just become an adult. You know, I probably drinking had a big part of it as well. that probably was the bigger part, was probably the drinking. But yeah, I think because juggling sport, juggling university, juggling a social life, juggling work if you have that, juggling, there's so many components that you have to juggle. You're not at school anymore. You're an adult and you're expected to be able to juggle everything in your life. And I think at a younger age, I found that harder.
Okay.
But I think as I've matured, I've sort of found a winning formula in my own
system.
life. Yeah, a system that I can go back to.
So, first year, that's done.
Yeah.
We've joined the American Bobcats team, and we've joined the Gloucestershire Gladiators team.
Gladiators, yeah.
We've tried our first game. We're now competing, playing with friends. We're now to the end of your first year. So this would be December or July still?
So the end of my first year would be December, but the start of the new season would have been in September.
So you started playing for the next season before you even started your course?
Before I started my second year, yeah.
So what was that like? Because obviously that's a lot of free time.
Yeah, I technically played 2 seasons in my first year. Because I played my first game, and then we had a varsity game, which got called early, which is one of my really close friends. This is a very close friend of mine. He ended up having a very serious injury in my second game I ever played. He developed a bruised spine.
Okay.
So he was temporarily paralysed from the shoulders down.
From an impact?
From an impact injury. He was temporarily paralysed. I think it was for 4 hours. I think it was. He couldn't. Move. He had no movement. Very worrying. You know.
Especially in your second game.
Yeah, second game. You're watching that. But that was our varsity game. 2 players had come in, completely illegal tackle. Just hit the top of crown of his helmet, with both their helmets hit the crown of his helmet. So they both ducked their heads and went helmet to helmet on the top of his helmet, and saw the impact and compression of his spine, bruised his spine, which caused the whole injury. So that was quite a lot, I think, from my standard point, and that was a sort of a crossroad I had to juggle.
So obviously now it's real. There's the fun side, and now you've just seen.
Now I've just seen like a serious injury.
And that obviously it's not even like a little broken a leg, a spinal injury. Especially someone who's studying paramedics, spinal injury is not something to play with.
Yeah, I was worried at the time because like I said, he was a good friend of mine, and we've been out, we've had socials together, we've had a really good time together. And now I'm seeing my mate on the floor with an injury that has been caused by playing this sport. And I'm at this crossroad. And when he's gone off, he got the ambulance come and took him away. And then we had the choice. Do we continue the game?
Knowing that's
just happened? Or do we cancel the game? So we chose to continue. And then the coaches gave us the option. Those who don't want to continue playing don't have to play,
of course,
but we're going to play the game. And I remember looking at one of my other friends, and we looked at each other and we both said, we're going to stick it out. And that was a big decision for me, because I was like, I have just seen this big injury and its big impact, but I still want to play the sport.
So it didn't deter you?
It didn't deter me, which is, I think has now made me, now playing for longer has probably made me more reckless. Because I wasn't deterred from something that was really serious, and now I'm sort of like, well, I'm okay to.
If I can handle that,
then I can handle anything. But yeah, that was still a big part, and it still lives in my mind. So when I do see injuries on the field, I am very much
remind you get back. Into that kind
and
of
also like no matter what injury it is, I don't go out to hurt people.
Of course,
I go out to play hard, and I go out to do a job and to do it well, but I don't go out to hurt people. That's one thing I don't do. I don't intentionally hurt people. If I hurt them in a tackle, that's an accident, then I feel bad, but that's the nature of the sport.
It's the sport.
But yeah, so you don't go intentionally hurt people. But yeah, that was a situation, and then going on from that, I had a massive break in my first year. So the end of the season ended in April, so we had the varsity game in April. And then I had from April till September of my course still going, and I was on placement, so I was going home, and I didn't have American football, so it was just my course.
Okay, and what was that like? Obviously, that's a big shift, going from every day playing American football to now just uni.
Yeah, now just uni, and obviously everyone was going home for summer, so it was uni. And I developed a very close friendship with one of my course mates, who's now one of my best friends. And we did everything together. And I remember, like, even when we had some time off, we would go to the park, and we'd throw American football around. And I remember we were throwing it around, and my mate, now my best friend, he just turned to me and said, I might join next year. I might join in September. Like, I really enjoy this. And I said, yeah, absolutely, mate. Like, come join, please. Like, I'd love you to join. So then we went through, we had placement, we were at uni, there was no distractions, it was fine, everything was going dandy. September hits, new season starts. I am desperate to make a really big impact in this team.
And you've been waiting a very long time.
I've been waiting this long time. I've played 1.5 games, realistically. The game got called.
Oh, yeah, because obviously it was a training game, varsity.
Yeah, and the varsity game got called halfway, so it was the game, varsity. I've been waiting this long time for a full season, my first full season of American football. And all summer I've been in the gym. I've been working hard because I want to show people like I mean business.
I'm serious about this sport.
Yeah, absolutely, and like I'm just gunning for it. And September comes around, Freshers Fair, people are joining. We're trying to get people in. We get a really good intake, really good intake of people. Like it's the biggest intake the team had ever had. And it was amazing. We had players who were still there. Josh Ricketts was there, Simon Bennett, Jamie Scarrett. And then we had new people coming in, LT, Harry Owen was still there. These are some really big names, really big names. We had Hero, who had played before. He'd won 2 national championships with Sterling. Like,
he had the experience.
He had the experience. So we had a really good team, like a really strong team, and training was going really well, like really well. I loved every minute of it. Balancing the uni still, obviously, with my university course still going on.
Are you still on placement too during your second year?
So we ended. So my placement was just in summer. So by the time I went back to uni, it was just coursework. So I was really relieved that I was like, all I'm doing is now coursework. So I don't have to worry about going on placement and juggling like 12-hour shifts or anything like that. I'm now just
uni and American football.
And American football, and that's all my mind was on. And that season, one of my favourite seasons. Obviously, not my favourite season.
We'll get to that.
But one of my favourite seasons. We did so well for such a small university. We played so well, and we had this running back called Abiola, he played in Saracens Rugby Academy. Very, very good player. I remember him at S&C, he was squatting like 210 kilos for like 3 reps, and I was like, oh my gosh, this kid's insane. And he was scoring touchdown after touchdown.
Okay.
And my best mate had joined the team, and he'd become a wide receiver, and he'd become a starting wide receiver as well. And I was seeing him do well.
It's all coming together.
And it was all coming together. And this is the time now where I'd won the kicking job, so I started kicking.
So on special teams?
I was now on special teams, so I was now the kicker and the punter of the team.
Okay.
As well as being defensive end. So I got to experience more of the game now, and I was on the field more, and I was enjoying it more. The first kick-off we did was an onside kick, and we recovered it, and it was the first ever onside kick the team had ever tried, and we recovered it first time, and we were all just like going mental. We were like,
it's actually worked.
What on earth has gone on? But that season was amazing, and we kept winning and winning and winning. And the only game we lost in the season, the only game that prevented us from promotion was we lost to Bath Killer Bees, who eventually got promoted. And we lost on a technicality of we never even played them. We never stepped on the field to play Bath Killer Bees.
Is there a reason for that?
More on the Student Union of Gloucester didn't reply to Bath in time for the rearranged game. Our coaches worked full-time jobs.
Couldn't
get time off.
Okay.
So we couldn't play the game that they scheduled for us. So we had to take the loss, which then meant we didn't get promoted. They got promoted. But we made playoffs for the second time in the club's history.
Okay.
So it's the second time ever that we are now in the playoffs, and we are playing Reading Knights away in Reading. We lose the game 7-0.
And can I just ask, did you go to Reading for that game, or did you stay in Gloucestershire? Because obviously
we went to Reading.
So when you were playing this American football, you didn't just stay in Gloucestershire. You actually got to travel.
Travelled around. It felt like British. When I first started, it felt like British players playing American football. The second season that we did really well, we started to play like a team.
Okay.
We had nationally, we had the best defence in the league.
Okay.
We only conceded 10 points the entire season. We're nationally out of Division 2, Division 1, Premiership, because there was no National League at the time, it was just Premiership, so it was 3 divisions. We were the best defence in the country. And obviously we played Div 2, so people are going to say, well, if you played a Premiership team,
it could have been different.
It would have been different, but we had the best defence in the country at the time, and we started to click. We had an offense that was really good. We had a very good quarterback, Josh Snell, he was a good quarterback. We had really good wide receivers. Our O-line were really good. We had Chris Tebbs played centre for us. So we had a really good team, and it was coming together, and our coaches were phenomenal. Really passionate. They were ex-players that have now come and coached us. They were passionate, and that's what we loved. That is what we loved as players. We loved to see the passion of the coaches that we had. And we felt like we were getting to a stage where we were like, we feel like an American football team.
Okay.
We felt like a united team. We didn't feel like people who have just tried to come
together and play the sport.
Tried to play the sport. Obviously, we had a lot of people played because the season before that I joined and played the Bobcats for the last game of the season. That was the first season post-COVID.
Okay.
So they didn't have American football in COVID. So this is the first time back after COVID that American football was happening. So a lot of teams were starting off with people who have never played the sport before. The American football before university in the UK is not widely known. There isn't many teams for under 19s or under 16s or even under 13s. There's no contact teams around in areas.
Just to go and play.
Yeah, the closest one to me was Solent, and I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that was a team until I went and started playing at university, and they said, "Oh, why don't you play under 19s?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't even know it was a thing." And by the time I knew it was a thing, I aged out. Yeah, I was too old for it now. But yeah, people don't know about the sport. So they were post-COVID. So we had become better because they've had this full season of playing. They've never played. No one's ever played before. Now we've played a year. We're now a better team, and we've stuck together, and we're now a better team. And that was the best part about it, is we grew together. Season ended.
Before we get to the season end, because that's the reason I asked the question about feeling like an American football team. Now you've actually got to experience what it's like to be an American football team, because now you're not only just playing home against friends or coming. Now you've actually gone to playoffs. You went to Reading.
Yes.
What was that first experience like?
It's my first experience, that playoff game. I was made defensive captain for the game.
Okay.
And it was my first experience of being captain.
Tell us.
I was shitting myself. sorry. I was so scared, because it was a responsibility that I had. When I was growing up and playing football and rugby, I was always the captain of my football or rugby teams. I don't know what it was or what my coaches saw.
It's got that personality.
I had that ability of where, like, my coach would be like, "You're captain."
Fairs.
I remember I joined a football team when I was in college. One of my local teams, Oakley, and I was there for about 2 weeks, and then the manager said, "You'll be captain for the rest of the season." And I remember thinking,
"Why me?
Why me?" So it was my first time I got made captain, and we were walking out, and then and the Reading, I could see the Reading sideline. They were a much bigger team than we were, physically and in numbers. They were a much bigger team. Walked across, shook the hands, and I was so scared. Captain,
away from Gloucestershire. First time playing in the playoffs.
As my first time in the playoffs.
First time in your playoffs,
and I was playing a different position.
So you weren't playing defensive end?
I was playing running back for this game.
Okay.
So our running back got injured in the season. We didn't have a running back, so they said, "Oh, Joe, do you want to play running back?" So the game before, I played running back half the game, and I'd injured my knee. I'd injured my meniscus. So this game, I was honestly, I was made of tape. I was made of tape in my knee, and we played this game, and we lost 9-0 to Reading.
Still a close game.
It was a heartbreaking defeat, because we played so well. Like I said, the defense that we had, 10 points all season till now. It was heartbreaking. And I remember after the game, everyone was so sad.
And this is your first time being captain too, as the defensive captain. So it's your first defeat as a captain and a defensive captain.
And we were really sad, because this was a moment for us as a team where we have grown, and we had seen growth, and we had put everything into it. And a lot of this come with an expectation that we could do really well here. We could win the playoffs. We could win the playoffs in Div 2. Like, we missed out on promotion, but we could still win the playoffs. And we lost, and it was heartbreaking. But that wasn't the end of my football for that second season. We still had varsity coming up. So we still had the varsity, which was sort of like a revenge mission for what happened the year before. And also, I had South trials for GB All-Stars.
That GB Great Britain, American football.
Britain. So that's the All-Stars game between the North and the South.
Okay.
So the North universities and the Southern universities, they play a game. And I had trials there, and I signed myself up to go for these trials and stuff. And it was an experience, because that's where the jersey here comes from. I turned up. You signed up for this trials anyway, and I went there, and there was people I'd seen. I've played against.
Like other teams that you played against, all there for the trials.
And then there was also the Bobcats were there. They were in Division 1. They were in the division above us. Okay. The Premiership teams were there. These are all boys who I'm
much more,
and the higher caliber. They've played more. Obviously, I've only just played a full. This is my first season. So I've turned up and I thought I was good at Gloucester because we had a really good season. I turned up and there was a whole different level of players.
Different level of caliber of fish.
These boys are bad. These boys are.
I can say with chess.
Yeah.
This is American football.
This was American football. And I was watching them and I was like, oh my gosh, they're unreal. They're absolutely fantastic. Thought I had a good trial. I didn't make the team. But I got an email saying, look, we put you in the provisional squad. So it was like a training squad. Like you were on the fringes. Like we really liked you. We liked what you offered. We think that you could do with another year of development before playing for GB All Stars. And I said, okay, that's fine. Like, I'm really happy about that. This is my first full season. So I'm happy to sort of develop next year. Long story short, there was no GB after that. No GB All Stars game after that.
Just to cut that story short.
Just to cut that short, there was no GB All Stars game after that one. But yeah, this was like my start of like really playing the sport and really getting like, now I'm in deep. I'm knee deep. I'm now knee deep into this sport. I am fully immersed into it. The experience, the aroma of like putting the pads and helmet on, it just immersed me into it, and now I was fully in.
So then, let me pause you there and say, at this whole time, you were still at university.
Yeah.
So what was happening to you? We've got Joe White, who's the American football player, finished his first season, just made the playoffs, tried for the GB, and you're like, I'm still going to go for it. This is me.
Yeah.
Paramedics.
It took a bit of a hit. It took a bit of a hit because now I was putting a lot of my eggs in this sport basket. The end of my first season was also, obviously, I'd finished my first year.
Because that finishes in December.
So I had all of Christmas, and then I went back in January, and now I'd start my second year, ended my first season. Now I was finishing off my second year, going into the second season I was going to play. And like most times, when the season ended, my course then became a priority.
Course, because now it's done, now you can go to that.
Now it's done, so now my course is now a priority. So it lifted everything up. So my grades, my attendance, everything got lifted because I didn't have any other distraction. Mind you, I'm still, 19, 20 at this time. So still don't really have this formula of how to sort of
manage everything.
Balance everything. So I'm just going full hammer and tongs, just straight at this. Like, this is the thing that I'm trying to go for. But my studies I was still doing well. I was still going on placement and stuff like that. And then the second season happened. And then this is sort of the start of the end of my time at Gloucester.
Okay.
So I didn't finish my course at Gloucester. I dropped out after my second year. So
is that like 1 month in, 2 months in, or like straight second year?
So I did the whole of second year, and then I dropped out. So I really, I didn't know until about a month before the end of my second year. I was like, I just didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this course. It wasn't me. I didn't enjoy it. But I had American football still.
That's what was keeping. I was going to ask, so what was keeping you? Because obviously that's not a decision you just make quick. I actually don't like this. This must have been a build-up of little things that you're just seeing and doing, and like it's just not connecting with you.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do this course, and it was a long time coming. It wasn't just like the month that before I dropped out. It was probably months before.
So what were those things that made you say, this might not be for me, and then that final, this isn't for me, I'm going to drop out?
I think my time on placement I really enjoyed. It was going back to university and doing these essays and doing this coursework, and I just didn't enjoy it anymore. I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I'm just not passionate for this. I just don't want to do it.
Fair.
But American football was keeping me at uni. I think sport was keeping me at uni, and that's sort of the bad thing about it. Because I was like, I shouldn't be here for sport. But I played the second season, and we were doing really well. and then it was my final game. I couldn't finish the season because I was no longer a student. So I played my last game, which was against Swansea, and we lost 20-0. And it was one of the best things that ever happened. Was I was named captain for the game. We used to do captains were chosen game by game. It wasn't captains for the full season. And they said to me, as we were walking up, all the other captains stayed behind, and I was the only captain that walked onto the field. And it was like a farewell.
Oh, like a goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. And I loved my time at Gloucester. And I loved my time there. But when I dropped out, like, I remember telling my parents, and I felt like a failure. Like, I really did feel like I let them down. And it was a really hard sort of reality I had to sort of shape in myself now. And I was like, I've just left university. I've just left something that I worked really hard for in my whole time at college. And I've been to university. I've done 2 years of a course, and now I've just left. When I had 1 more year left, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to a lot of people. And then I turned around to my parents and said, I'm going to reapply for university. I'm going to go back. And it took me a good month where I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I go back to university and study again? And I had an idea of what I wanted to do, which is the course I'm doing now, physiotherapy, and I had that sort of in the back of my mind. But at the time, I actually thought I wasn't going to go back to university, and I actually thought I was going to do my apprenticeship in carpentry and go and work as a carpenter. That's what originally was my thought process. So my mum and dad have had a very big impact in my life, always have done. And my mum we sat down and my mum said to me, she was like, I don't want you to regret anything in your life. One thing I feel like you're going to regret is that you didn't go back to university and you didn't study. She went, carpentry will always be here. It's not going anywhere, you know. My dad's a carpenter and joiner, and he owns his own business, and my dad was like, look, if you go back to university and it still isn't for you, then we can sort something out for you. But if you go back to university and it is for you, we will support you in going back and studying whatever you want to study. And that was the sort of spark and switch in my brain where I went, okay, I'm going to reapply, and I'm going to see what my options are, and I'm going to go, do you know what? I'm going to give it one more shot. And I wanted to do physiotherapy. I did a placement block when I was doing paramedics. I did it with a community physio, and I really enjoyed the role. And when I was leaving, I was like, I could see myself doing that. I really could see myself doing that. So I was like, I'm going to apply. I'm going to apply to universities again. I'm going to go for UCAS again, and I'm going to reapply. And I reapplied like you do, like UCAS, 5 universities, top 3 choices, all that sort of stuff. And I heard back from 4 universities, and I had 4 interviews. I had Bristol UWE, Oxford BUCS, Bournemouth, and University of Southampton.
When you were doing your paramedics, you did something extra.
Yeah.
That actually got you into the physiotherapy.
Yes, yeah.
Could you tell us about that just before you go on to your next step?
I got to do a placement with a community mental health team when I was doing paramedics.
It was just random? Or
so we did elective placements. So these placements would be given to us, so they could be so random. They could be in a hospital ward or something medical, but it wasn't paramedic based. So you weren't on the trucks, you were in a hospital, or you were in a community team or doing something else.
Something you have to do, or it's optional?
No, you have to do it.
Okay.
So I was given this mental health team, but they happened to have had a physiotherapist that worked within there. And I got to work with her, and I got to go on a couple of drives, got a couple of visits with clients, and they call them the patients, but they call them clients. And I got to go away with them and see what was going on, and I really fell in love with that. And I was like, I kind of like that. I like what she's doing. I like how the patients or clients interact with them. I just love that role, and that's where I was like, I could see myself do that.
Could you say that potentially is one of the reasons what influenced you for your end of course decision?
Definitely, because when I was doing that, I realised I was enjoying that more than being a paramedic. My mum was a nurse, and my sister was a midwife. So very medical in the sort of the female side of my family. But as I was growing up, I always had a very sort of caring bone in my body with everything, and I wanted to do something that helped people. always wanted to help people, always wanted to sort of help them become the best versions of themselves, but also wanted to help them physically as well. So Paramedic was that sort of like, you know, I watched the show 999 on the TV, and I just thought that looked really cool. So I thought, do you know what? Yeah, I could do that.
I could do a bit of that.
I could do a bit of that. I could do a bit of CPR. But no, that was sort of an influence of why I chose to do that course originally. But then I think obviously doing that placement and then doing physiotherapy, that's me.
That's me.
That's me. That's what I want to do.
Okay, so we've decided to drop out. But now decided we can go back, try this again. UCAS. 5 universities, 4 offers, 4 interviews. What was that? So obviously now you're not 18 anymore.
No.
You're now 20 years old.
Yeah, now well, as I was sort of applying for UCAS, I was turned 21. so now I was classed as a mature student. That was a bit of a kick in the stomach.
What was that like? So you're not like...
I felt old. I felt old.
Okay, so you're now a mature student.
I'm now a mature student, yeah.
21.
Yeah.
And you're reapplying. Yeah. Did you feel like a mature student, or did you feel like you were just applying to university?
I just felt like I was applying to university because I didn't finish university.
Okay.
I felt like I was just going back to university. I didn't think I was mature at all until I was nicely told by my first year flatmates that
how much there a gap was there between the dropping out and applying? Was it straight? So was it you finished in?
I finished in December, and then I reapplied when everyone applies, which is June, July time.
So it was literally just coming the next season, and it was just literally there was not really much of a break. Yeah. It was more of like time to think.
I was working throughout that, so I worked with my dad on construction sites, and that's what I did for the 9 months till September when I started.
It's very interesting because the reason I say this is because so then you actually saw when you left. This is what my life potentially could look like for the rest of my life.
If you put it like that, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was on a construction site and I was doing carpentry work, and I was looking and I was like, this could be my life. I mean, don't get me wrong, great money, but definitely not the sort of job that I wanted.
Wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me.
Obviously now again, you're not 18, you're coming through 20, you're now 21, mature student, you've reapplied, and you now know, okay, I'm going to try this again.
The interviews are different because I didn't have to wait for grades.
Course.
So the offer they were giving me was unconditional.
Even better.
So the interviews were a bit more lax than the first time, because I think because I had experience in healthcare before, they were sort of like, he kind of will know how to answer these questions. So it was more like, I think they were more judging me off my personality than they were judging me off what grades I could get or what can he achieve. I think they already knew that, so they were like, okay, what's he like as a person? And obviously I had the 4 interviews.
And can I ask, when you were picking these unis, was American football an influence of? Okay.
Yeah, my dad, when my dad looked over my UCAS, he came up to me the next day and he said, I just did a bit of research into all 5 of these universities you applied for. All 5 of them have an American football team. Isn't that really strange?
Isn't that really strange?
And I was like, oh, what a coincidence.
Okay, so American football's still head on. Like, although I wanted to do physiotherapy, that was still part of your big influence.
Yeah, definitely, because it was such a big part of Gloucester a massive part of Gloucester, that I was like, and it was a massive part of, and we'll get later onto it, it was a massive part of helping me with my mental health as well, this sporting atmosphere. So, of course, I was like, whatever university I go back to, I want to be part of American football. And the university that was number 1 choice at the time was Bristol UE, who were UE Bullets.
Were they the top then?
They were the top. They were the cream of the cream. They were
creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme of American football. And that's the university that I wanted to go to. And not only just because of the American football, but because of my sister had gone to UE and graduated from there, and had just done and was completing her postgrad at UE as well. My nan, who was a mental health nurse, did her degree at Bristol UE.
So naturally.
So it was like Bristol UE we knew as a family. I'd been to Bristol UE to see my sister.
Of course, it's familiar.
Yeah, so it was familiar, and they had a whole campus for just like medical courses. So they had all the campus for everything else, media, business, whatever you decided to study.
And then your campus.
And then medical campus. If you were a midwife, a nurse, a physio, a pharmacist, or whatever you were studying, you were on this campus. So naturally, I was like thinking from a a physiotherapy student side, why would you not want to go there? Because they have that whole separate campus. And then I was thinking from a sports side, and they have an amazing American football team. Like, just amazing. So that was a massive influence in why I wanted Bristol U. And I had the interview with them, and ultimately I didn't get an offer.
Okay.
And I didn't get an offer from, and I had an interview with Oxford Brooks, didn't get an offer from that. They were my number 2 choice. Number 3 choice was Bournemouth. Had the interview, went to the open days, fell in love with the campus, seaside campus, you know, not too far from home, about an hour and 15 drive. Just fell in love with it.
Can I ask then, what was that like? Obviously, as you described, Bristol, in your eyes, that's the route. Sister's gone Bristol, Grand's gone Bristol, they've got the campus. You do the interview, you sit down, and then you get that email.
Yeah. Heartbreaking, because I applied for UE when I originally applied when I went to do paramedics, and I got rejected as well.
Okay.
So I got rejected twice from UE, which was a real kick in the teeth because I had to then go to my sister's graduation of her postgrad there, and I thought, oh, it's just
Could have been me.
Could have been me. Yeah, it just sucked. It really sucked because I really wanted to go there. Not just for American football, but for the university itself. Very, very strong university, very good. And I was gutted because it was twice now.
One's like, okay, but now I tried again.
Yeah.
And you said no again.
Yeah. And you got me to the interview process again. And you got me so close again. So it was sort of, they were taking the biscuit. And, they were taking a piss, really. But it was heartbreaking. And then going to Oxford Brooks and then getting rejected there, I was like, that was heartbreaking as well. And then the sort of the rainbow at the end of the storm here was Bournemouth. It was Bournemouth. You know, they were my number 3 choice, and I ended up coming to Bournemouth.
And so let's talk about that. So when you were looking at these teams, again, the American football, you put Bristol, Oxford, Bournemouth. Did you look at Bournemouth University or even consider Bournemouth University an option, or was it Bristol's locked in, Bristol, if it doesn't happen, Oxford Brooks, and then the rest of them is like, we'll see? Or was it, I will break a go?
Yeah, no, it broke down. Bournemouth were number 3. I knew of Bournemouth American football team, obviously, because they were my first team that I played again.
Yeah.
So I knew of them. But I personally wasn't thinking too much of the American football when I was applying. I was thinking of the university. So I wasn't too fussed, because I was like, I played for the Glads, who weren't world beaters. We had a really good team, but we weren't winning titles and stuff like that. So I wasn't expecting to go to a really good team and play. I wasn't a player that was like, I wasn't offered scholarships. You know,
this is your first time. This is my introduction.
This is my first time. I wasn't offered scholarships. I wasn't a fresh 18-year-old where people were like, "Oh, he's a prospect. He could really grow into something." I was 21 years old, coming to university. People didn't know me around the community that well yet.
New environment. So when the American football wasn't the main. It was a reason why I applied for the universities, because I wanted to play American football. So all of them had an American football team. But it wasn't a deciding factor of why I wanted to join the team. My deciding factor wasn't I wanted to be a Bournemouth Bobcat. My deciding factor was I wanted to go to Bournemouth in the end. And when I wanted to go to Bristol because I wanted to go there. I wanted to go to Oxford Brooks. And then when Bournemouth applied and I went and saw Bournemouth, I was like, actually, I want to go there. And I think this is the path that I want to take. And tell us about that experience when you first. Is it your first time in Bournemouth, or have you been Bournemouth before?
I've been Bournemouth before. Bournemouth is like a seaside town that a lot of people come down on holidays. And obviously, saying I lived an hour and 15 away, it's quite easy to come down. And it's famous for the pier and Harry Ramsden's fish and chips and all that sort of stuff, and obviously Bournemouth Football Club as well, like the actual football team.
But now you're coming down as a potential student.
I'm coming down as a student. So
and what was that like? What was that experience, first time coming in? And do you think it made a difference of you coming and seeing it in person?
Yeah, definitely, because from what my sister, when she was applying for university, she applied for Bournemouth as well. And the Gateway building in Lansdowne wasn't built yet. a lot of different, like this building we're sat in now, this wasn't built, like Bournemouth was different when I come with my sister to look. Then when I come to look, it was modernised. There was new buildings, there was a new way of there was a bit of a buzz around here. So selected Bournemouth, come here, and the experience that I had here was really good. And I remember when I did get accepted and we had a look around and come to the open days, I then reached out to the American football team.
Okay.
I then reached out to the Bournemouth Bobcats, and I remember the DM now I sent them. I said, "Hi, my name's Joe White. I've played American football before," and I remember sending them the screenshot of Gloucester had just put up my stats from the season before. So I put up this is my stats that I got from the season before. I'd really like to join the team. I then had a message back within a couple of hours saying, "Hi Joe, really nice to hear from you. Are you starting in September?" I said, "Yeah, I'm coming in September." I sent them my confirmation email, and they said, "Amazing." Before you know it, I had an Instagram post saying recruited.
Joe White
recruited with a picture of me, and I remember turning to my parents in the car. We were on holiday at the time, and I just went, "I've been recruited. I've been recruited to this American football team." And I didn't at this time. I didn't think about what the future could hold for this team. I was just thinking, I'm going to university in Bournemouth, and I'm studying a course I want to do. And now I'm going to be playing for Bournemouth Bobcats, who look like a very professional outfit.
You like the outfit?
As in, they were like a very professional team.
Oh, okay. So the way they done their training, the way. Obviously, like you said, you played them, and you went from an up to basically losing in the end. Were you worried about not being able to fit in, or being able to come as an older student, kind of "Oh, you're an old man," or kind of this kind of aspect?
I think I'm quite an easygoing person, so I can take a lot of banter. I can take a lot of hits. A lot of jokes, and I can give it back as well. And I wasn't too worried about starting uni again.
That must have felt very nice.
It was nice because for the first time in a while, obviously I've been out of American football because of being out of university. So I haven't been in part of the American football setup now since January. It was nice that I had a bit more American football, and I had a bit more there was a sort of a recognition of, okay, this guy, we've recruited him, so they must think that I'm okay. Everyone else that was getting recruited, they went and saw play American football. They haven't seen me play American football. They can only go off what I've told them.
The stats, the message.
So they must have thought, oh, he's actually
pretty decent.
He's pretty decent. So we're going to make a recruitment post for him. So I felt a bit okay, so Bournemouth have recognised that
I'm someone.
Yeah, and now I was getting messages from future teammates and teammates that I played with. They were now reaching out to me going, "Oh, really good to have you, really excited for this new season, let's get it." All of those sort of messages you get from teammates, and I started to really think I could really fit in here. It was nice. It was something that I really wanted, because it gave me, before I even come to university in September, before I started, I'd already now touched base with people who were already here.
Okay.
So I had people I could reach out to.
Friends, people, community.
I now had friends that I already had before I started. So it almost gave me a confidence boost of starting university with knowing that I had people and teammates already. It gave me confidence now to, I was well, it's okay if people don't like me in my flat, because I've got teammates that like me.
Like a grounding.
Yeah, 100%.
So you're not just coming...
I think getting a message of people is really nice. I think when people reach out to you and they're nice to you when you first start a new thing, it makes you more determined and more interested in actually giving it a go and actually being yourself a bit more. Whereas before, I was probably a bit more shy. I'm a quite shy person, really. So having that already, I relaxed and I got to be myself a bit more because they allowed me to do that. And
that was those first messages. You already started university part of the team before you even started the actual whole university experience.
Even before starting my course, yeah.
So now, September.
Yeah.
First year again.
Yeah.
Where did you stay in your first year?
I stayed in Cranbourne House.
Oh, okay. So you made the first mistake every Bournemouth student makes.
I stayed in Crackbourne, yeah. Crackbourne was my first one. It was the cheapest one. That's my excuse. It was, everyone goes Purbeck wasn't much dearer, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have stayed in Purbeck. But yeah, I was in Cranbourne House.
Tell us that experience. Does it live up to its name?
It's not as bad as everyone makes out. You have to make the best of a bad situation you're in.
Fair.
It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. It's
all right.
It's a glorified prison cell. It's a glorified prison cell, but I enjoyed it, and I had really good flatmates. I had really class flatmates. They were very sociable, so I got on with them. I got on with them enough as well. Obviously, when American football picked up, I spent less time with them, but when I first started in September, when American football wasn't so prominent at the time, I wasn't training and stuff just yet, I really got on with them.
So did you find it easy when you were coming in with a new system, or could you apply the same system you did at Gloucestershire?
Oh, it was a new system. It was a new system. I probably felt more confident because I've been to university before, so I knew you kind of like, you have to shut yourself out of your comfort zone when you first start. So you have to be charismatic, you have to be confident, you have to sort of push yourself a little bit outside of your comfort zone. And that's something that I learned and matured from when I was at Gloucester. So when I was at Gloucester, I wasn't like that when I was 18. I was very shy, I was very to myself, to my detriment. Now, coming into university, now 21, 3 more years of experience, 3 more life years of experience, and 3 years an adult, realistically, I was now more confident where I could talk to anyone. I could talk to, if they were 18, 19, 20, 21, I could talk to them. I could talk to anyone about anything. And that's what gave me a good grounding. New system was, I knew how to juggle my uni life, my social life, and playing American football.
And do you think that made a difference in your experience?
That made a difference to my experience. My experience here at Bournemouth is 100 times better than my experience at Gloucester.
And due to the systems?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us about that system? What is the difference between Joe White, 18, trying to figure out how to do life?
Alcohol. Drink it. Drink it. Just don't drink as much.
Just don't drink as much.
No, it probably is sort of my social life a bit. My social life when I was 18, like, I said I was shy in that, but when I was drinking, I was a bit more charismatic and I was a bit more outgoing.
So it helped?
It helped, and I used that as a coping mechanism, really, where, because I was shy, I would drink to become more confident, so I ended up drinking more often. And then come here and I was more mature, I was like, well, I don't have to drink so much to be confident. I can just be confident. Because if everyone else is drunk, people are going to assume you are also drunk.
Okay.
So, like, I don't have to get blackout anymore. I can just have a little bit of a buzz and go around my life, and I can be fine. And that's the sort of a system that kept me really good for the next morning, so I didn't have as bad hangover. So I ended up going to lectures more often because I wasn't hungover enough where I'm not turning up to my lectures. I ended up being a better athlete because I was turning up to training where I wasn't hungover as well. I also managed to get more coursework done because I had the self-control to say, actually, I've got to get this done, so I can't come to the social.
Okay, so alcohol was a big influence.
I think every university student struggles with that. Realistically, that is social culture, is either drink or food.
Fair.
Like, realistically, it's drink or food. When you first meet your housemates, it's like, should we go out for a bite to eat or should we go to the pub?
Let's go to the pub.
So I think that point in my life as a student was like, drink was a massive part of it. And like I said, as I got older, I was realising that I don't need to drink as much to have fun, and I don't need to. That's not that. I said it's a big part because people, I think, when you're young, you're starting something new, you're scared and you're worried. And like I was at 18, I was scared and worried. But now I'm 21 and I'm coming to a new university. I've got life skills that I'm like, well, I don't need to be like this. I can be my normal self
and just interact
and interact. And now my new system is like, I'm interacting with you. I can now go to university. I can actually now do my course that I enjoy. I can now go to a sport that I enjoy, and I can do that fully aware and fully awake. And that made a whole difference.
Okay.
Because now I was getting the experience that I didn't have at Gloucester, because I didn't go to my lectures. I didn't want to go to the course because I didn't enjoy it. And the only thing that I did have was the sport. So the only thing that I carried over really was my sport.
Was your sport.
Was my sport. And so my new system changed because now I was enjoying something else. The first half of it was easier because we were going over stuff that I'd already studied for 2 years.
Okay.
So a lot of it was going over anatomy, physiology, and I'd already done quite a lot of that when I was at Gloucester. So I found that a little bit easier, and it was okay. And then after Christmas, I found it a bit harder. And the course was getting a little bit more testing, and we had some OSCEs, which is like mock assessments. So you would be a patient and I would be treating you as a clinician. So that got a little bit harder and stuff like that. But at the end of the first year, found it really good, really enjoyed the course, really enjoyed placement as well. I went on placement at the end of the year and really enjoyed that. I was down in Fareham working with a learning disability team, so that was really fun. So, and I managed to really balance university. I went from not enjoying university to now joining a new university at an older age, and now thinking, why could I not have done this when I was 18? Why could I not? Why am I having such a good experience now? And I feel so like I'm 21 now. I feel old. I'm now a mature student. And now why am I now having more fun than when I was 18? And that was it was because I was balancing it better. And I was enjoying the course better, and I had a really good time in my first year. And a lot of that I do have to go to the Bournemouth Bobcats. First time meeting the team, I met the chairman of my first year was Alex Dearman. Very, very, very good friend of mine. I got very close to him in my first year. And he picked me up and we had a player-led session. It was the first time I met any of the boys. And it was really nice, and they were really welcoming, and I didn't really play in the position that I played, so I was playing linebacker this session just because they were doing a passing practice, and I was there and I was doing okay, but I wasn't doing like amazing because it's not my position. And they were going, oh, you just seem like you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about. And I was like, well, I've played before. And they were really interested to hear what I was doing at Gloucester and how they performed and what they did for trainings and stuff like that. And it was very welcoming, my first session. Then my first real session was sort of the freshers taster session.
Is that your first? That'll be September, or?
Yeah, that would have been the end of September. So when I joined the team, and then I met a few of the coaches at the Freshers' Fair here at Bournemouth down at the sports hall, and they come up to me and said, "Oh, you're the recruit." With the recruit that we brought in,
the Joe White, the Instagram,
the Joe White Instagram, and I was like, yeah, and I got speaking to now a very, very close coach of mine, Coach Bear, Matt Clarkson, and I was speaking to him about it, and he was like, I'm really excited to have you on board, and I know that you play in my positional group as well. And then I spoke to the rest of the team, and everyone just seemed really nice and really friendly, and that was really nice. And then the freshers taster session. The boys were like, look, we already know that you're part of the team and you want to play, but just get involved and have fun with this session. So that's what I got to do, and I just went around and all the stations and had really good fun. And then I stayed for the second one as well, because I just wanted to be a part of the team. I wanted to really get part of them and have that camaraderie that I had when I was at Gloucester. I wanted to build that back up here with a new team. And I don't think I could have had a better first season. I don't think I could have had a better first season. And this is really where I sort of made a name for myself, was this first season. This is where I really, how can I put it? I think this is where, without sounding too egotistical, I think this is where Joe White ended up on the map.
Okay.
I think this is the name that I sort of made for myself, was my first season here. I'm not one to take a lot of credit, so I'll give a lot of credit where I think credit's due, and the credit's due is to the team and to the coaching. Coach Bear, massive part of my development as a player, really taught me how to read the game better, what to do better, and he was a lot more attentive at training to technique, to power, to speed, and could be quite harsh on me at times. Because I played before and I was in this positional group, there was only me and another lad at this time who had played previously in these positions. So I think that he could be quite harsh on me because he expected more from me, which was a good thing. This was a good thing because Coach Bear he has a different approach of coaching than any other coach that I've been around. He's he's an individual coach as well as a positional coach. So
he learns the person.
He learns that he's a person. He's a people coach, and that's the difference between the coaching I had at Gloucester and the coaching I had here. Was he saw you as an individual rather than just a whole positional group. He was like, you've got these qualities and abilities. You've got these qualities and abilities, and you've got these qualities and abilities. This is what you should be doing to get better, and this is what you should be doing because that's different from him. And he managed that. And that I attribute to having a really good first season. And then the team in general was better ran. We had Steve Rains is an amazing head coach. Steve Key is a great defensive coordinator. And being able to come onto the team, being a kicker and punter as well as a defensive end, and then being trusted, joining this new team, and they say, well, you're going to be our kicker and punter as well for the team. And I was like, this is an honour because people usually have a kicker and punter for the team.
They have set people. They do.
And I just happened to have joined when their kicker and punter has left. So they were like, we're looking for a new kicker and punter. You can kick and punt. Well, you're going to do that as well. And I think that's where I gained confidence with the team because I knew I was going to be in a position of power. The kicker and punter is the main person of special teams. So I had that position of sort of power already. I was now a defensive end where my first game for the Bobcats I won defensive MVP of the game. So that was something. And to continue throughout the season as well, picking up MVP performances, if that was for special teams or for defence, was attributed to the culture that's surrounding the Bobcats.
So if we talk about you as a person going through that whole experience, 21, course is going well, Bobcats is going well, what was that becoming of Joe White that was different, that wasn't Joe White at Gloucestershire?
Just maturity. I was maturer. I was definitely more mature than I was when I was 18, 19. I think anyone, when you turn 21, I think you're a bit more mature when you're 18, 19. Definitely, that was the biggest contributing factor, is that I had a direction now that I wanted to go in. I wasn't sort of just in the wind, just sort
figuring
of,
it out.
Yeah, just pissing in the wind, as my dad says. I wasn't just pissing in the wind. I was actually had a direction that I wanted to do, and I wanted to go. And if that was my course or the American football here at Bournemouth, that was a massive part. And it was a massive part of who I am now and what I've come to achieve. I owe a lot to also the people I surrounded myself with here at Bournemouth, and the people that helped me, and the system and the way that this university and this American football team is set up. I was focused. You can use that. You can use that.
Log that in, clip it.
Yeah.
Focused.
I was focused. Focus was my main. I had a direction and I was focused on it. And that was my mentality.
Did that come from you having that experience from Gloucestershire and now saying,
yes,
no, this is it?
Yes.
This is
this was my last chance. This was my last chance, you. This was my last chance, you. This was my last chance, you. This was my last time. This was my last chance to be at university, get my degree, and also play American football alongside it. This was my last chance to do that. I wasn't getting it again. There's not enough student finance in the world to keep putting me through courses.
How was this season as a Bobcat?
Season was going really well. We were undefeated in the division. We'd only conceded a handful of points as well. We were really good. We were hot. We had a really good running back in Sully. We had a really good quarterback in Alfie BUCS. We had a phenomenal defence. with Nate Norton at the back, two-time All-Canadian MVP. This guy, the ball was up in the air, he's getting it. He's intercepting it, don't even think about it. And we have Calvin Clark, Jaden was just coming up, Louis Davies at linebacker, the whole linebacking core with Alex Dearman, Tom Ball, Ethan Whittock. I could name the whole team because
it was that much of a unit.
Yeah, and it was a brotherhood. Like it was the brotherhood. It was the shit. We were the shit. We were the shit. And the only team we lost to was the team that went on and won it all, and who have now gone 2 seasons undefeated. Brunel. We lost in the South final, which would have been the promotion to the Premiership, and we lost to Brunel, and we were winning. We were winning in that game, and I took a lot of blame for that game, as in on myself.
Personally.
I blamed myself a lot for that game because the situation, it was 6-6 just before the half, and we had a field goal attempt. I hadn't missed a field goal all season up to this point, and it was just right off the post on the right hash, and all I had to do was kick it left. I kick left in training all the time. I miss left. I hook it left.
So this is set up. This is me. This is my left kicker.
Yeah.
All I've got to do is do what I've been doing for the last season.
This is 3 points guaranteed. This is in my head. I kick the ball and it misses, and it goes right off the post. It misses right. Out of all the attempts in the world, it goes bloody right. And I walked off the pitch, and I've really messed up. I've cost this team because we are struggling to score right now, and I've just kicked it fucking right. And I was in bits. I was distraught, and it was only half time. And in my mind, I was thinking, I've let the team down.
You've just cost us the game.
Yeah, I've cost us all the game. As the game went on, and it was getting tougher, and they just pulled through and they scored another touchdown, I was thinking, fuck. Do you know what? Fuck. The one moment that grounded me was we have a teammate, Deegan, and he just looked at me and he just went, "It's not your fault." And I went, and I brushed it off, and I went, "Oh, yeah, okay." And he went, no. He went, "Look at me." He went, "It's not your fault." He said, "We've had all game to score. It's not your fault." And that's what grounded me, because I went, my mistake hasn't cost us everything, because we had the rest of the game
to score,
to make that up. We were a very good team. And when we spoke to Brunel this year, when they were talking about us, they said, "You were the best team we've faced in 2 years."
Fairs.
Like, that's the sort of level that we were really good. So it was heartbreaking. But then towards the end of the season, then we go to the end of season awards, and in my first season, I've picked up Defensive Lineman of the Year, and I got Dog of the Year, which is Coach Bear's award he gives out.
So what is this?
It's like a end of season achievement award. So we go over individual achievements. So
like a ceremony.
Yeah, like a player that has stood out in a set position or set unit. So defense, special teams, or offense, and then the whole team MVP. So who was the best on the team that year?
And is that something you get together and do in a hall?
Yeah. So we hire out at Chapelgate where we play. They have sort of a bar room. And we hire that out, and then we all get sort of suited and booted. We would have suit ties.
Suit and tie. Did you feel like an American football team and get an American football experience?
Yeah, because you feel like a unit. And as you turn up and all your mates are there, and they've made an effort, and it's nice to see everyone making an effort. And you're going and you're reminiscing about the season. You're going, or you're going, what could have been? Do you know that? And just being recognised for stuff that you've tried really hard for that year. And like I said, this is the year that I think I sort of stepped onto the American football scene, where I then started to get noticed.
Okay.
And with that came playing summer football after university, after first year finished. I had a brilliant first year at university, had balanced everything, did really well on my course, had a really good season. Now it's coming into summer, going into my second year.
So this is finishing the university first?
Yeah, finishing the first year. I've now gone on to play for the senior Bobcat team, which is my first outside of university American football team.
So that's separate from the uni?
Yeah, it's separate. So it's now my new experience of stepping into the American football world. And I also then got a call up from the Irish Wolfhounds, which is the country of my father, Ireland, you know, being called up to then go and train with them and hopefully represent my country. I'm feeling like so good about myself because I've worked so hard for this. I've worked so hard. This whole season has been about developing myself, and I spoke throughout the whole season. I was like, I want to represent my country. Now, everyone has a dream in the UK to play for Great Britain. I couldn't care less about playing for Great Britain because my family's heritage, my family's blood, where my dad is from, my dad is Irish. And he has brought me and my sister up to say, you are Irish. You might be born in England, but you are Irish. And that's how we've been brought up. So when it was, well, GB are looking if you want to come up for trials, and I was thinking, I don't want to play for GB. I want to play for Ireland. I want to represent the country that my dad installed in me and my sister. This is your country. You may be born here, but your country is Ireland. Your blood is Irish. So being asked to come and train for them and to hopefully represent the country, the words, I haven't even got words for it. I haven't got words to describe what I was feeling in that moment. And the passion, that's what I was feeling, passion. And seeing the look on my dad's face, when playing football, I used to do trials at clubs, did very well, played at a good level. And seeing my dad be proud of me playing sport. My dad was a very good athlete in his day, very good. And seeing him be proud, and then when I got the call up to go and train with Ireland, he was just so proud. And that's what made me happy, was seeing my dad proud. And I think that's why I don't have words to describe how I was feeling in that moment. Because it was only the start. That's only the start. And I knew this is the start of something great to come.
Was there a social side to it?
There was a social side to it, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I did enjoy that. I always enjoyed the social side. I like a drink and I like a dance and I like having fun. And there's no better way to have fun than with your mates. And this team, when I say it's a brotherhood, it's a brotherhood. Everyone is out for each other. And not in a bad way. That everyone's looking after each other. Everyone wants everyone to have a good time. And that is something that has been installed in Bobcats, like the Bobcat law, for years. And I think it will continue long after I'm gone as well. This is a culture that, socially, it's a good culture. Yeah.
Now we come to your second year. We've had some MVPs, we've trained with our home team, our course is going well, we're enjoying life, and we come to the year.
The year. You can use that as a title, the year. Thumbnail it.
The year.
The year, yeah.
Coming into your second year,
yeah,
was there a worry?
My worry was my course.
Okay.
My worry was my course. Obviously, I dropped out at the end of my second year at Gloucester, okay. So I was worried that maybe I'll have the same feelings again. First year, a bit easier at uni. Second year, harder. How am I going to cope? And that was my worry. My next worry was I'd been chosen to be chairman of the Bobcats. So I'm on a committee and I'm a high rolling committee. I'm just one below president. So responsibility. And I was worried that come with more worry about other people, teammates.
So you got more responsibility,
even more responsibility. So there was a lot of stress. So now I'm looking at different ways of trying to balance university and American football. So But I've been really blessed with having good course mates and good teammates. So I've had a lot of people that I can rely on, I can go to if I needed help. And that's the main thing I would say when people come to university is find good course mates and find good teammates. Because the people who you surround yourself with will be the make or break of your experience at university. That's the advice I could give to someone who's coming. Join a sports team, make friends in your course. That's it. That's simple. Join a sports team, make friends in your course, because you'll have a social life, and if your social life ain't going well, make friends with people in your course, because at least your course then will go well. So that's the big thing, and that's my worries for my second year. And then second year started off really well, really good. I had exams and stuff coming up, and I had practicals in my course going really, really well. And now I was balancing that with being chairman with responsibility and having committee meetings and going into Sport BU, and it entailed a lot of meetings, a lot of talking, and it entailed a lot of carrying a responsibility that no one else in the club knows about. No one else sees what you do behind the scenes. I have an immense respect for who was my president last year. This in the second year was Alfie BUCS. I had a massive respect for what he does and the sort of the pressure that he takes upon himself. And then to come and help him, I could see from that side how much it takes to run a team like the Bobcats. And I've gone from in my first year just being a player, just having fun, going out, being a good teammate, being a good flatmate, being, whatever. And now I'm going into a position where now I've got responsibility within this team, and I've got people who I need to look after now. And them people who I was last year, just having a good time, I'm now responsible for them. If that's me going to a social, I'm now the senior member.
Not just drinking.
Yeah.
Now you've actually got.
I've now got to make sure that if there's an incident at socials, that it can be resolved, and that it's things don't go too out of hand, because then I'll have a nice meeting with Sport BU in the morning. It's not something that I want to do. So being a chairman had completely changed the way that I approached university, because I had this new responsibility. So it's like I had to grow up even more than I already was. But I found that transition a bit easier. I think because I was now 22 when I started my second year. I was a bit more. I felt like I was more responsible.
Okay.
So I felt like I was like, I can take this role on. I wasn't too fussed about going out and drinking too much. I was cutting that back a bit more. The headaches were getting worse in the morning, so the headaches were getting worse in the morning. So I definitely cut that back a bit, and then it's sort of become a bit. It's just become easier to transition into, I think, and I loved it. I love this team, and I love being a Bobcat, and I love American football, and I love when you go on campus and you're wearing Bobcat, merch or stash or whatever you want to call it, and people go, "Oh, he's a Bobcat." And then
identity.
And then what happened was, because I was now chairman and going to meetings and being part of and going to socials, you become more recognisable. So
Joe White.
The sort of Joe White, the year. And then, as the year went on, the course was going well, so that was good. And then the Bobcats had more opportunities. Sport BU decided to set up something called Team BU, Team BU TV. Which was American football was the first episode, American football and women's football.
Normal football.
Yeah, normal football, women's normal football, and that was when me and Alfie made our appearance on there, and I think I sort of become a bit more notable then, because I was on this where people were watching it from other clubs, and they were going, "Oh, who are these two from American football?"
Bit more recognition,
and then we had better recognition because we were going to strength and conditioning more as a team, so that became mandatory this year.
So what is strength and conditioning?
Where lads or ladies from any team in University of Bournemouth or Bournemouth University, sorry, would go and they would go into a strength and conditioning gym, and there'll be a coach there, and they get a program specific to their sport, and it helps them to develop skills and the right physical requirements to compete at the highest level.
So as an American Bobcat, what were the kind of things you were doing in SMC?
So we split into two. So for those who needed more sort of speed work, they were working on sort of more speed-related exercises. And those who needed power and to be stronger were working on those specific exercises. So we split it into two. So the American football is a sport that accommodates every body type. So no one's excluded from American football. So it doesn't matter if you're tall and thin, or short and thin, or tall and fat, or short and fat. It doesn't matter what your body type is, or you're muscular.
There's a position for you somewhere.
There is a position for you, and they can, whatever your requirements are for that position, will be replicated into the S&C suite. So that was really important as well, and I think Bobcats just become a bigger thing. Like we become like what American call a franchise. We almost become this big sort of like, we weren't talked about as the like Bournemouth University Bobcats. We were talked about as Bobcats. We become a brand.
It's an identity.
We become a brand. Yeah, an identity, and it becomes something that like people wanted to protect, and people wanted to be a Bobcat. You know, the people who were Bobcats, they wanted to say, I'm a Bobcat. They wanted to wear the Bobcat badge. They felt
proud of it.
They felt, there was something to be proud of this year. And that made me then, who had responsibility, even prouder. And I became more motivated because I wanted these lads to be like, I want you to be proud. I want you to be proud of what, because this is a proud moment. This is amazing. What more can you want? And you know, that all topped it off, you know, and like we talk about my second year that's just been, and I went on placement, and that was brilliant, and I did really well on my placement, and I did really well in like everything that I did this year. My course went absolutely swimmingly.
Was it better or worse?
And it was better. It was better, and it was better than I expected.
Because obviously you had that worry.
Yeah, and I was worried.
This is what Gloucestershire second year.
And I wasn't worried. At the end of the year, I wasn't worried because I was relieved, and I was so happy and ecstatic. And that's why I call it the year, because not only did, and we'll get on to the achievement that we did in the season, but it's the achievement that I had at my university course as well. And the balance that I had this year was even better than I had in the first year. And that's just from maturity. First year focused, this year determined. I was determined to get over this hump of university. I was determined to get over this hump of second year. I was determined to get over this hump of, I've got a new role, I've got new responsibilities. I was determined to be better. And that's what kept me going every single time, every game, every time we were at uni. I was determined to do better than I was the previous years that I was at uni. And it worked, and it worked. It paid off swimmingly, because I'm sure you're going to ask me about what happened towards the end of the season.
Did the placement help on your course? Do you think it made a difference to your overall experience?
Yeah, I think some placements are really good, and then some placements aren't so good. My first placement wasn't the best, but that was just because of character differences between me and a mentor.
Character conflicts.
Yeah, that wasn't
personality.
Yeah, and that wasn't. I don't think that was
personal. This is a personal thing rather than a global.
Yeah, that wasn't like a global thing. I don't even say it was a personal thing. I just think that was just, you know, some people you get on with and some people you don't, and that's the end of the story. But my second placement was amazing and fantastic, and I absolutely loved it, and that really kept me going, and that really kept me motivated, and that was like, you know what, I really want to do this. I really want to do this, and that's what my determination was like. I want to finish this because I want this. This is my end goal.
Now we get onto the Bournemouth Bobcats season, which, from what we've seen, was a very good season.
Yeah,
we became the national champions.
National champions, yeah.
From last year to this year, what do you think the difference was? The difference was that took you from, we got very close and almost didn't finish, to championship.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know what was different this year.
We'll go to the start of the season.
Yeah.
Recruitment.
Yeah.
You said last time when you started in your first year of Bournemouth Bobcats, you already had previous winners. We had people that have played before, had the experience, had a very good defence, had a very good offence. When you came to this year,
I was worried. We lost a lot of good players. We lost a lot of good brothers. That's what I wouldn't say players. We lost brothers because they were graduating and they were leaving uni, and they were getting on with their lives. But we gained more this year. We had the biggest recruitment intake of people who had played previously from under 19s level. We had experience of lads who went and played in America. 2 lads that went and played in America. So we were confident, but we were worried that we wouldn't have the depth to do it. What we could have done last year, and we were worried about players. We weren't worried about the division. I don't think. I think the Bobcats had been smashing Division 1 since they got in there. So we weren't worried about the division. But I think starting on -7 points definitely didn't help.
And can you tell us about around that?
We started the season on -7. There was a lot of panic, I think, and a lot of worry, because one mistake and that was it. The season over. If we lost the game, that would be our season over. We couldn't lose. We had to win. We had to win. There was no question of losing. We had to win every game.
Yep.
And we achieved that. We went 8-0 in the season, which through everyone's miracle, we made the playoffs. And I think a lot. I mean, when we made the playoffs, everyone was going, well, we knew Bournemouth were going to win. And at the start of the season, no one thought we were going to do well. No one thought we were going to do well. No, and I think there was something deep down in us that was like, maybe we.
What was that? Yeah. What was that kind of position, mental?
It was just because it was such a mental hill to climb. It was like, are we going to be able to do it
with the -7?
With the -7, and then when we did achieve it, I think that's what shifted us to, we're going to do it all.
So again, that determination of...
It was determination. And then when it comes to playoffs, we faced our old nemesis, Bristol Barracuda. They were chatting a lot of shit about us in the season. And they said they were saying online, and they had a presence where they were saying that they were going to beat us and everything like that. And I'm all for people, talking and trying to sort of round it up a bit and try and make
exciting.
Exciting. And they're fully in their right to talk and say that they were going to beat us. If that's what they believed it. We just believed that they weren't, and we were going to win, and that's what we went and did. We went and won, and we beat them, at where I can't even remember where they played.
Bristol.
I'm trying.
Blank mind.
Oh no, I do remember. It's Chapelgate West. Chapelgate West is where. It's not called Chapelgate West, but we renamed it. That's Chapelgate West, and we beat them there.
What was that like going into that?
It was worrying because it was a new change up for the team. A lot of them lads have been there for 3 years, and now we're starting with a lot of lads who weren't in their final years. I think we had 7 final years in the season. So a lot of these lads have just played football last year, or they were just coming through. So it was a bit of a concern. I would say that it was a concern, but quietly confident.
Okay. So then we have our recruitment day.
So
how was that?
Really good intake.
Like you said, biggest team.
Biggest intake we've ever had.
What was that thing that made the difference of bringing so many members in recruitment that year?
I don't think I can confidently answer that, because I couldn't put my finger on it. But I would definitely say that it has something to do with probably our general manager in Aaron Taylor. He had a very big part to play in recruiting and getting us these players. And then obviously we have our freshers fair, that we're getting rookies who have never played the sport before. And from someone who never played the sport before to now playing it for 5 years, having then people join. I'm all for people coming from rookies and trying the sport out and then doing well. and it was great this season to see how many of them played so much as well. Like they weren't just coming to just fill numbers; they were here to actually compete and play. And that's something from someone who come from that position before. I really like to see that. And a lot of people who play American football now, obviously they come from playing under-19 football and they come into university.
It's a bit more of a system in place.
Yeah, kind of a system now. But when I first started, there was no system like that. There was no scholarships or anything like this. So it was a big step to, and I think that some teams do neglect the rookies because it's like, oh, there's so much effort having to teach them how to play the sport. But I think you get a benefit because, you know, I did that. You know, I went from never playing the sport before, not knowing what I'm doing,
to now being MVP and captain and chairman.
Yeah.
What was your first game of the season?
First game of the season was Bristol Barracuda at Bristol. But we were probably confident about 7.
7?
First game of the season, a lot of these lads, we had a pre-season game beforehand that we did very well. And so we were going into the first game of the actual season. We knew we could win. We didn't know how much it was going to win, and we didn't know if we were going to concede. And we won the game, not too convincingly. I think it was only 21-0, I think, or something like that. And it was a good performance, and it was a good stepping stone. Second game, Bath at home.
And confidence going in?
I think we were confident because we were coming off the back of
the win from Bristol.
The win at Bristol.
Okay.
So we were confident with that.
Still a 7?
But still about a 7, I reckon. And then obviously we conceded our first points of the season as well, which was we didn't concede in the regular season the year before.
Okay. So if we compare the two,
this is a bit of a shake-up.
So you're starting to see the difference of what that experience of them leaving and the new rookies coming in.
Yeah.
What difference that's making.
Yeah. And that was a bit of a shake-up.
So we've beat Bristol.
Yeah.
Bath
we beat.
But unfortunately, the difference was you're seeing the difference already in the teams.
Yeah,
where you conceded.
Yeah. And then the second one
was Bristol.
Yeah.
Home.
At home, yeah.
Confidence going into that. Did you beat the Bath game?
We beat Bath, and then we like I said, we had to win, and we beat Bath, and then we beat Bristol at home, which was a bit better than the game before.
Okay, so there's an improvement coming.
We conceded again, but it was something that like we expected that they were going to do a bit better, but we won quite convincingly, and we had a horrific injury to one of our teammates, Kieran Leasy, broke his leg and his ankle in the game as well.
So if we talk about that, obviously, like you said, that spinal injury first with that decision. You're now done paramedics, physiotherapy. Did that, again, shock you? Or was that something you've now regulated of, like, expectation of, like, you expect?
It angered me. Because it was an unnecessary injury. It was unnecessary. He wasn't being tackled. He just got pushed by a player. And it sort of angered me, and because obviously I think we have this rivalry with Bristol. Well, they think they have this rivalry with us, and it just annoyed me a little bit. So we ended up playing really, really well after the injury. Like we scored. I think we scored 2 touchdowns after his injury because we were all so fired up that we were like, well, we're now gonna whoop your ass. We're gonna put ass to belt here because you've just hurt one of our boys. And that carried on, I think, because then you know we beat Plymouth.
Then you had Plymouth.
We beat Plymouth away.
Was that a good game? Confidence going in?
10.
10.
Yeah, 10.
So Plymouth was a straight clear. You already knew what was happening.
Well, we were confident going in that we were going to win, and then we got a little bit worried in the game because we were playing on the like a bog. We were playing on like the muddiest pitch, and it was just so slow. And they were doing really well, Plymouth. They were really good team actually. And then you had Bath away.
Confident going in?
Yeah, I think this is a game that
Oh, this was
if you believe in miracles.
Okay. So what was your confidence going in? So we've gone from a 7, 7. Yeah. Plymouth is a straight goal 10. Yeah. Bath, has it gone down?
I think now we're looking at this game as more of a must win. And I don't think our confidence was. I don't think we can scale it because I don't think we were confident. I don't think we were not confident.
It was just determination. We've just got to win.
It was just we have to win.
And why was this game? You would describe it. We'll call it the miracle game.
Yeah. Because it was so important. So important. The way that we were 2 scores up. We were flying at half time. We concede. We've now conceded again.
So now it's 14-14.
And then we score, and then we've made it about 21, and then they've scored, and now they're in our own zone, and they're about to make it, and they're about to go ahead of us on the scoreboard.
So 21-21.
I can't quite remember what the scores were.
Oh, there's some there.
There was whatever the scores were at the time, and then they score. And I'm lost for words. I don't know what to...
You went from confidence, winning the game, knowing determination, we have to win every game, to they're now ahead of us, and this could be the end of our season.
Yeah. And I'm panicking. And I would always, even when we go points behind or stuff like that, I say I'm quite a positive person, but I was now panicking because I was thinking, we have 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock in the 4th quarter. We have to score to win. We have to score a touchdown to win.
And do you feel like, as the chairman, as the leader, you have to keep that face up, or
we do? I mean, I lost my head, and I'm man enough to admit it. I lost my head, and I was furious. But yeah, you have to keep your head. When you're a leader, when you lead a team, you have to keep it. And I was trying hard, and I think there's the recording of the last throw. You can hear me in the background going, everyone heads up, it's not over yet. It's not over.
I do it.
And
then we saw the miracle.
What is so at this point, Bath are ahead.
Yeah,
we've got about a minute and a little bit left. We're looking at the end of the season.
This is now the final throw. So the minute and 10, we've ran 3 plays, and they've not got us too far. And we've got 1 play left. We have 1 play left, and I think there's about 15 seconds on the clock.
15 seconds, yeah. 1 play. This is it. This is the last play of the game.
This is last play. Well, this is one of the last plays for us in the game. Alfie BUCS, quarterback. Fabio Stucator, wide receiver. And it's a screen go. And everyone's, I think, it sort of neglects Tom Richards' part in here. Tom Richards plays a really good dummy. He goes out screen. He's jumping around. He's going, please give me the ball, give me the ball. Fabio's got on the go. He's down the sideline. He's running. He's beating his man. Alfie has thrown a pinpoint pass to Fabio. Fabio's caught it, and he scored the touchdown. We have just won the game, and it was just phenomenal. I just remember being so ecstatic for winning. Amazing feeling. And then we went from such a team where that was the moment that we believed
we could do it.
We were finally on positive points. Anyway, we were doing really well.
And that game, like you said, in that moment, for the first time in your career, where you're normally a very positive person, as a leader, you stay positive because like you said, put your heads up. As though you were telling the other teammates, you were convincing them to believe, even though in your heart you were still getting a bit distraught, kind of like, I don't even know if I believe. But you were convincing them. You saw Alfie BUCS take the ball, throw it. Tom Richards, good distraction. Fabio catches that ball, runs to the end game.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
That was the game. And I could be real with you right now, we can skip the rest of the regular season because it was just a breeze. We don't have to talk about the rest of the games. They were a breeze. We did so well. We were doing so well. And after that moment, we just thought we can't lose. We can't.
That was that brotherhood. We're a unit. This is it.
Yeah, this was it. This was the moment that we all realised, like, we could do this. We could actually do it. We could do the impossible. And it is the impossible. I think if someone was going to title this season, it should be called The Impossible. because it's the impossible dream. -7 points to now champions. That is the impossible, and everyone's now thinking that the impossible is now possible. And that's what's going through our head. So we breezed the rest of the regular season. We're now in playoffs.
Who are we versing?
Bristol Barracuda.
Back to Bristol.
Back to Nemesis.
But we're confident now.
We're very confident.
What did that game go like? Was it a breeze or was it a...
It was tough. It was hard fought. They put up a really good fight. But we went out there.
You were a different team now.
We were a different team. We were a different team.
Because the first 2 times you versed them, it was regular season, you haven't versed that, but then you had that game, and you saw the shift.
Yeah, we saw a shift. We saw a shift in mentality. We almost started playing games like, we can win, we could beat anyone. We could beat anyone. We could
untouchable.
We had that feeling about ourselves, and like for the good or for the bad, I'm not sure. But we were going, and we did really well. We did really well, and it was nice. It was a nice end to the game, obviously, with winning and going through to the next round. And it was good. It just felt so good. It just felt so good to win that game. And then obviously we're going on to
the next
playoff, and then we're looking for the next opponent.
And that was KCL.
KCL in King's College
in London,
in Chiswick. Just, we're going against a well-drilled team. We've now got Coach Nana he was the head coach of KCL throughout the regular season, has now come and joined our coaching staff.
It's almost like everything's just aligning.
The stars are aligning. What can Bobcats do wrong? And that should be, if we were going to be in the newspaper, what can Bobcats do possibly wrong this year? And we go into KCL and we're sort of nervous because we don't know what to expect.
This is your first time ever versing KCL?
I'm not sure about Bobcat history, but it's the first time I've ever played KCL.
Okay. But we had that confidence behind us. We had that miracle game.
Yeah.
If we could beat that game, we could do anything.
And then obviously, we beat KCL. We're having a fantastic game. We really played well. And we're playing on another bog, like an absolute mud pile. And we beat them. And we're in London, and we're now off to play in a South final for the second year in a row.
-7, lose a game and we're done. To Southern Finals.
Southern Finals.
To potentially be the champions.
To potentially be the champions of the South and to earn our place into the national trophy final at Loughborough. So we're now on our way back from KCL, and all we're thinking about is next game, Hertfordshire. Big one.
Big one. This is the final.
This is the South final. This is for our promotion to the Premiership, something that we have tried so hard for. This is what the Bobcats have been working for 4 years now. 4 years they've been working together for this promotion, and we have now a chance to do it. And it's the best chance we have because we have not conceded a point in the playoffs, and we scored 40-odd points in the last game. Our confidence is fly high, but we're going into a team that are also confident.
Because they're
also very good.
They're the Northern Finals, where you were the Southern Finals.
No, they were still in the South. Yeah.
So, this is the South team.
Yeah, this is Hertfordshire. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're and we're getting prepared, and we turn up to Hertfordshire, and then all of a sudden there's sort of a nerve about everyone.
Okay, so a brink in the armour.
Yeah, because we're bringing up all week. We got to this final last year. We played Brunel.
Okay,
the heartbreak of those lads who were now the senior players, who were the junior players the year before. We're now saying to these new junior players, like,
we've been here before.
We've been here before, and we lost. We know how hard it is to lose. Let's not lose.
And like you said, it's a different team.
Yeah.
We're not as strong, but we still know what it's like to get to this point.
Absolutely. And now I'm looking and I'm thinking, we need to do better, because like I don't want to lose another final. It was destroying, So we're doing it. We're playing, and we concede first. Shit, we're losing in a South final.
So that's a big hit.
We're big hit.
Because like you said, you've been scoring.
It's their first drive, and we've conceded, and it's the first points we've conceded in the playoffs. And the first points actually, I think we've conceded since Christmas, I think, actually.
So when was this game?
So this was going into February.
So 2 months.
2 months we didn't concede.
First drive.
Yeah, I think we were on I think it was like a 6-game
win streak, no points.
No points conceded, and we're like,
Whoa.
We've just conceded here, first try.
This is real.
This is now real. Like we're now experiencing a really top team, and there was a hard-fought game, and it was back and forth, and it was blow for blow. They would score, we would score. They would score, we would score, and it was just blow for blow, blow for blow, blow for blow. And then all of a sudden, the moment that it sort of lives with me is the moment their quarterback got injured. And that shifted the game.
Tell us about that. What was that experience like? Like, because we had the Bath miracle, and now we've got another shift of, whoa, this is an important moment in our season.
It was, I'd just come around the edge. It was a passing play. I'd just come off the edge of the left tackle, the right tackle, sorry, I was on the left side. I was off the right tackle. The quarterback has just escaped my grasp. And I thought, shit, I've just lost him, he's going to run. The right tackle has stood in the way of the quarterback, and I've just managed to get behind the quarterback and grab him. And then as we're going to the ground, I heard their quarterback yelp, and I immediately, this almost like guilt has come over me, because I've just realised I've hurt this young lad, and it shifted the game. This quarterback was their best player.
Good, really good.
Really good player. If anything, one of the best youngsters in American football in Great Britain. That's how good he was. And how good he is. He's not, he is.
Yeah, he's still alive.
And he will get to that level. He will get to that level because he is amazing. And that to me, when I come off the field and the coach said to me, you've changed this game. You could win this game for us now, because that's their only threat.
That was a threat.
That was their threat. And I felt terribly guilty. This is a moment where we're winning. Their biggest threat is now out of the game, and I felt guilty. And I didn't feel this excitement of
we're gonna win.
We're gonna win, because I felt guilty. Because I felt like, although it wasn't on purpose, I feel like by winning because someone was injured isn't winning to me. It felt just a bit, it felt hard, personally. The lads deserved it. They worked hard. They worked really hard in the game. They deserved the win. I felt bad because of how it happened in the end. We won the game. We're now South Final champions.
You've done it.
We're now promoted. We've done what we've been aiming for 4 years. We're now off to Loughborough. The big one, the national championship.
The big one.
North versus South. The big one. Everyone wanted this.
How are you feeling?
I'm scared. I've never been on a stage like that in my life. I've never played for a big trophy in American football. I've not done this. I've played a South Final for a promotion. I've not played for a national trophy. And now I'm going to be stepping onto a field where it's now being live streamed to thousands of people. People are now coming to pay to watch this game. There's loads of people from American football community. And we're now going up to Loughborough to now play a team that, watching film, they're really good. They're a really good side. They're a really good team. We were, as much as people were saying, I think that Bournemouth might win, we were pinned as underdogs. Everyone thought that UCLan were going to win. University of Lancashire. Sorry, they're not called UCLan anymore. University of Lancashire. They all said the Rams were going to win. So we're going into this game and we're the underdogs. And I like that. I like that. I like being the underdog. I don't want people to root for me. I want people to root against me. Root against me. Give me something to work for. Give me a bone to chew.
Give me a bone to chew.
Give me a bone to chew. I don't want to be your favourite. I like being disliked. I like it when you dislike me.
Because it gives me a reason.
Because it gives me a reason to prove you wrong. It gives me a reason to have the last laugh. And that's what was going through my head. I'm going to have the last laugh today.
And were you confident going in?
Confident in the sense of we were confident in our ability.
Okay.
We turned up. We stayed up in Leicester. The university paid a great experience. Tell
us about that experience. Yeah. So again,
this is amazing.
Keep it in mind, this whole time you are a university.
Universities don't do this in Britain. We're not. In America, we see them flying and getting hotels and stuff. We don't do this in the UK because universities can't afford it. Our university paid for us to stay a night before in Leicester to then go to the game, so we'd be well refreshed instead of travelling the 4 hours up to Loughborough. Universities don't do that. This is the college football experience in the UK for a national trophy. for a national final. This is the experience. This is what everyone who watches American football in America, this is what you want. If you're an American footballer, this is the experience you want to have right now. You want to be away with your teammates,
got a hotel booked.
have a hotel booked, having an evening meal, and then go into the game the next day and you're hyper focused.
Had a good sleep.
Had
some good food.
People are ready. We turn up. We're there. We're at Loughborough. We've registered. We're in the changing rooms. We go out. We do our pre-game warm-ups. We're doing everything. The moment I knew that nothing could beat us was the moment we prayed as a team. The moment we prayed as a team in the changing room is the moment I knew we won. That was a moment for me. That, to me, as someone who has faith, that was a big moment for me.
What was that? So you're in the changing room. Yeah. Are we all together?
We're all together. So we're in the changing room. We're all together, and I've been asked to do a speech.
Okay.
Before the game.
As the captain, or as
a captain, Alfie said to me, he was like, "Do a speech, talk to him, get him riled up," and I said, "Okay." So I spoke, and I spoke to everyone. And I said to them, this is our moment. This is our moment that we will look back on for years to come. These are the moments that you will tell your children and they will tell their children. This is your time. This is your moment. Look around the room and look at every single person here is your fucking brother. And we look after our brothers. I am my brother's keeper. That was the message. And then Alfie spoke and did his piece. And then I said to the boys, I don't care if you don't believe or you're not religious. I asked that everyone would join in with this prayer.
But you said we can't go out like this. What was that?
My moment was, every game up to this point I've prayed before. Every game before I make sure that I take a knee and I pray. And this time it was so special that I didn't want to do it on my own. I wanted to experience that with everyone. Everyone deserved that experience. And it was so beautiful. Everyone put their phones down and everyone joined in. Everyone, the whole changing room echoed. That, to me, is the most beautiful experience from someone who has been brought up with faith, but also plays sport, for all of your teammates to join you in prayer. There wasn't a better feeling. And when we stepped onto that field, I felt invincible.
You only had a team on your side. You had Jesus and God.
I had it. If God stands for me, who can stand against me? I felt invincible. I stepped out onto that field, and when we did the captain's walkout, I looked them all in the eye, and I just knew I'm going to win today. I'm going to win. Because I want it more than you. I want it more than every single one of you.
Determination.
I looked at everyone in front of me, and I just knew I want it more than you. And it showed. In the final, I played every side of the ball. I played as a running back, I played on the defensive end, I kicked, I punted, I played on every special team.
You were determined to win that game.
I went off injured twice.
Oh.
I had a pulled calf, I went back on. I then dislocated my left shoulder. I got put back in and went back onto the field.
Nothing was
stopping me. I was the dog that wanted that bone, and I chewed it. I wanted that final.
And what was it like in that game?
Tense. It was tense. They turned up as well. They thought they were going to win. You know, everyone. When you turn out to a final, you don't go expecting to lose. You go expecting to win, and they come and they put up a fight. They were a good team, a really good team, and it was annoying because they were good. You know, I wanted to steamroll them, but they didn't. They didn't want to let over, and it showed because we went to overtime. And this is make and break. This is make or break now. This is the time where this is going to either make you as a person or it's going to break you as a team.
You're either going to win and be a champion, or you're just going to lose.
Yeah. And we went and fucking won. We went and fucking won. We beat them. and we beat them good.
And what was that final overtime like? How long is overtime? Is it like?
The overtime. So when the game ended, we go and do the captain. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. And then
it's 0-0.
But we go out there. All 4 of our captains are still standing. All 4 of our captains are still standing. They've only got 2. 2 of them have got injured. When we walked out and I saw 2 captains, we won.
So the battle you've had in between this, we know we've won this battle.
We've won by numbers.
We've won this battle. And at this point, we just need to win the war.
We've won by numbers. The reason why I know that is I went off injured twice. I dislocated my whole shoulder.
And you came right back
And I came right back on. I wanted that more than them. I wanted that final more than them. That is how bad I wanted it. And that's how bad I gave up for the team this year. No matter what injury I had this year, I would play. No matter what the team needed, I would play in that position. I trained as O-line in training because they wanted me if people went injured. I would play anywhere all
Nothing
year.
was stopping you.
Nothing was stopping me this year. I played everywhere. And in that final, it really showed. I really played. I really fucking played in that game. My passion for that sport really showed. I paid for it the next day, mine, but I wanted it. And when we saw them 2 captains, I went, we won. And then they said they can go first.
You were like, first mistake.
First mistake. Letting us go first. We then go, Roddy, with this amazing run, Roddy Pereira gets down, he gets inside the 5-yard line. We're thinking, that run has rejuvenated us. We're like, we've got another 4 downs. He's just made 10 yards. Right, we're in their 5-yard line. We're in their red zone. This is it. Second run makes 3 more yards. We're on their 2-yard line. We're 2 yards away from winning this game, from having the best chance to win, because they get another chance after us. Joe Haylock on the 2-yard line. He comes off to the side of the pitch. They go, what play are we going to run? Joe Haylock goes, QB sneak. We've never ran it. We've never ran it before in training. We've never done anything with it. And he goes, I want a QB sneak. Like what the Philadelphia Eagles did with the tush push. I want that. And he goes, okay, well, who do you want behind you? And he goes, I want Roddy Pereira. And this is the moment that he goes, give me Joe White. And I come running onto the field.
Well, what were you thinking? Like, because obviously, like you said, you've never run this. This is new. We've never tried this.
Yeah, I was nervous, but I felt honoured because he asked for me. So I come running onto the field and I could see his smile. And he goes to Roddy, he goes, you've got my left bum cheek. You've got my right bum cheek. He goes, push me in, boys. As soon as that ball was snapped, we're in.
Touchdown?
Touchdown. Touchdown. Extra point. Have to kick it. I've missed.
Last year,
I've missed. The start of the game, we had a field goal. I missed it. But I've got rid of that mentality. Because it ain't about me. It's about the team.
Okay.
So this time last year, I was still worrying about the miss. This time I'm thinking, I missed early on in the game. I don't care about that anymore.
This is now.
This is now. I've got another chance to redeem myself. Ball snapped. Ball held. Perfect. Straight through. 1 point, extra point, done. They've now got a chance. They've got 4 tries now.
So you've just secured.
We've just secured. It's now 13-6. They have 1 chance to match our score or go 1 better by 2 points. If not, they lost. First one. Second one, sacked. A 3-person sack. Archie Kennett, Sampson and myself. 3-person sack. Set him back 15 yards. He's now got 25 yards to make in two attempts. Third one. Fourth one, he throws it at the ground.
That's
Champions. National final champions, Bournemouth Bobcats.
What was your first reaction?
I got down on my knees and I said thank you to God. Honestly, there's the picture. There's a picture on BUCS on their Instagram, and it's just me on the ground with my hands up.
Because he like you said, you had that pre-pray.
I had that
praying all
that
season
prayer before, and I just And then my next protocol is I went to my bag and I went and grabbed the Irish flag. And when I grabbed the Irish flag and I waved that around, And then the ceremony of the medals, watching...
Going, everyone collecting
shaking the hands of all the U-Clan lads as well, and being courteous.
Is it real at this moment? Do you believe you've won?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment, because we haven't got the trophy in our hands. Until I have that trophy in my hands, I don't think...
So this is a surreal, because last year we were this close. This is still surreal. You're still processing. I know it says we've won, but I don't see a trophy. We've got a medal, but I've not seen a trophy.
Yeah. And now the time has come where we're now all standing by the border. It says champions on it. And then they announce over the tannoy the MVP of the final. Touchdown Tuesday MVP. Who is it? The biggest game.
National. Finally made it.
The biggest game in Bobcat history. Let's put that in perspective. It's the biggest game in Bobcat history.
First time we've made it this far.
First time they've made it to a national final. MVP number 93, Bournemouth Bobcats.
That's what they saw? Joseph White. Not only is he the captain, 5 years ago was he starting, joining the team, messaging the team. You've had good games. You played, like you said, you've broken yourself twice, and you finally hear that all the work you've put in over all those years.
Yeah.
Joseph White, 93.
Yeah. Oh, it's unreal. It's unreal, honestly. Like, what an experience. What an experience. And to just, words can't describe what I was feeling.
Yeah, but
my parents were so proud. Yeah. National champions. Amazing.
And then you got the trophy.
Then we got the trophy. Yeah. And then you can cue the clip.
Cue the clip. Joseph White lifts the trophy up.
Yeah.
Was it real then?
It was real. That was real. And then it was real and it's still real now. It's still real now. So, yeah.
And then did you have a ceremony this year?
Yeah, we had an award ceremony, yeah.
And what was that like? So obviously now it's a national champion ceremony. Was it different? As in, again, when it comes to last year's team?
I mean, it was different. It was different. I mean, we had sports ball before, which is where all the sports of the university gather together. I mean, I don't think many universities do that, but we do here at Bournemouth. And we get to celebrate sporting achievements. And, I mean, we cleaned up. We got nearly every award. And that was phenomenal. And personally for me as well, getting nominated for Sports Personality of the Year here at Bournemouth as well.
So the awards didn't stop coming?
Yeah, well, I didn't win it, but I got nominated, and that was the honour. It's just... And then the awards night ceremony, and we're celebrating something so amazing, such an achievement for this team, and people getting recognised for what they should be recognised for and how well they did. And obviously it was Alfie's final year as well, 5 years with the Bobcats. So,
and this Alfie was one of your first players you versed against.
Yeah, I've gone full circle. He was the first quarterback I was up against, and I've now just taken presidency. He's just handed presidency to me of his club. It's surreal. I think there is a clip somewhere of Alfie actually throwing a touchdown over my head when we first played.
Do you think if you didn't go to uni, you would have these stories, experiences, and...
No, absolutely not. If I didn't go to university, I wouldn't have this.
Who do you think you would be if you didn't go to uni?
Who would I be?
Or what differences do you think it would have made in your direction in life?
I wouldn't have been as happy. My experience at university with sport my happiness, a lot of that is attributed to what this sport has offered me at university. This sport has given me so much opportunity. I am representing my country. I have won a national championship with my friends. I have had a fantastic social life. I have made so many memories. Without university and without the experience that I've had at this sport, I wouldn't be as happy. and I know that for a fact. Yes, I wouldn't be as happy.
What would I give to someone who's thinking about going to university?
Joe White at 18, what are you telling him?
What am I telling Joe White at 18?
What I would.
Be confident. Be confident, because everyone's in the same boat. You're not the only person who's feeling nervous or scared or worried about something new. So be confident. Try new things and try them early. Don't wait to try things. If the opportunity rises, take it and go with it. Waiting or procrastinating is probably the biggest no-no at university. Don't do that. Act upon what you want to do. Join a sport, join a society, whatever you're going to join. Find friends who are outside your course while also finding friends in your course. Go to your lectures. Go to your lectures.
Go to your lectures.
Go to your lectures, do the work, and do it to the best of your ability.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's not first level, do it to the best of your ability. And that would be my advice
Okay.
to an 18-year-old Joe White.